Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Now we're going to have a pairing video today, and it is of the Tliltocatl vagans, the Mexican Red Rump. Now these spiders, we're going to be doing this a little bit different today, because normally you are used to seeing all of our tarantulas in glass enclosures. Well, we do keep some spiders in braplast tubs on a short-term basis, and this is basically spiders that have come in, whether we want to quarantine them or whether we've had some come in from a collection that perhaps we've purchased or whatever. And so what we do is we put them in these temporary accommodations until we work out what we're doing, whether we're going to keep them or whether we're going to move them on to someone else, or whatever the case may be. So what happened basically was, we had a collection that we purchased recently, and within that was a female Mexican Red Rump. Now this is a spider that I've not particularly thought too much about doing anything with, really, but as you know, if it comes into the Beastie Room, we do like to try and breed it. So I thought, well, we're umming and ahhing, and I was on the fence whether we should move it on or whether we should do something with it or whatever. And then lo and behold, we ended up with another collection that came our way as well. Now in amongst that, there happened to be a mature male vagans. The writing was on the wall. We had to have a go. So I thought, right, our female's been in this braplast tub. She's been in there for what, maybe 2 weeks now, and just before that we were told that she'd molted out only a couple of months ago. So we knew she was pretty much ready. The male turned up, so we thought, right, we'll give it a go. So what you're going to see today is we've kept them in them tubs, and it's an interesting point. So we can literally show you that yes, you can still breed them even if they're just kept in like temporary accommodation. It doesn't matter. Now that we've actually paired her, we will now in turn move her into a glass enclosure, and which will be her permanent home, and we can do a nice rehouse of that particular spider, because we've not done one of them before. So we can do a future video of that. So what you're going to see now is the pairing attempt, and I hope you enjoy it. This is quite a short video. It's they really didn't take that long at all. So sit back, have a little look at this, and we will talk you through the pairing of our Mexican Red Rumps. I'll see you shortly. See you in a minute. Now today we're going to pair our Tliltocatl vagans. As you'll see, this is different to most of our pairing videos. So we thought we'd have a bit of a change, and we'll show you these guys. Now these are in temporary accommodation. These are in braplast tubs, and basically what's happened is we've had these individuals come into the Beastie Room, and they've literally just come in at the right time. So we thought we'd try and pair them. Now we have had a molt from this female, and once we've paired these will be rehoused into their permanent enclosures. As you can see there, the male is on the left, female on the right. She's only a young female. Now it took some time for this male to venture over, probably around about 15 minutes or so, before he finally plucked up the courage to climb over. And as you can see now, he's starting to send the messages. Now you can see that almost scratching on the surface of the substrate, and you can see how it's pulling it where there is fine web all over it. Now she will be able to detect that. Another thing you'll see there, if you look into the blue bowl at the back, this is her water dish, and she's dumped a bolus in the water dish. And one of the things that we've noticed actually in our last bag of soil that we brought in, our potting compost, this particular one has been fraught with tiny little flies. And as you'll see in that water bowl there, the bolus has soaked up the water bowl, taken all the water, and these little flies have laid their eggs within that bolus. Now these hatch within like 24 hours. They take no time at all. And they will literally, the maggots will come out and they will eat everything that's within that water bowl. They'll take the lot and then in time will hatch themselves. And this all happens in a matter of days. They're very fast producing and a constant pain. As you can see, our male there, he's working away. He's starting to up the tempo a little bit. You can see the hooks on his front legs there when he raises his leg. Now these are a spider that have gone pretty unnoticed for me. I don't take a lot of notice in many of these particular types of spiders. Whoa! Now you see how fast she was then. But you notice how he maintained contact with her. Now this is a time when, you know, you have to be a little bit brave and let your spiders do their thing. But we could see there that that wasn't necessarily an aggressive move. There we go. We take the opportunity to remove the water bowl. We don't need that in there anymore. Now they're in quite a precarious position now. Look, this is look at the fangs on her. Now you can see the constant contact. Our male is desperately trying to get her legs back there. You can see how he's already got one pair of legs over her fangs. Here we go. Here we go. That's insemination just there. Perfect. So in actual fact, this took very little time at all. Now these being a terrestrial spider, when we move them to their new home, they will end up with more substrate and what have you, and she will possibly just bury herself away to produce this egg sac. That was really cool. Very quick. You can see now he is literally just holding her. He's not making any attempt to try again. They are both literally perched. Oh, here we go. We're trying again. And you see how she lifted herself up then? She don't really want that anymore. And will he take the message or will he try? Here we go. He's trying again. She's lifted herself so high now, it's making it very difficult for him. And he is basically balancing on his back legs. The pair of them are bridged over the corner of these tubs. Here you go, look, he's backing off now. See how he maintains that long grip with that front leg. And he's still tapping away. She has shown hardly any kind of communication towards him apart from that final lunge. Very interesting. But as you've seen there, if we allow them to get on with it, good things will come. Absolutely perfect. He's still giving it a go. No, that's it. He's had enough. He's going to say his farewells. And let's see what happens. Absolutely perfect. So the actual act in itself was very quick. Although this whole video probably took around about 45 minutes. That's it. We're all done. Well, I did say it was a short video. And I think it ran for about 6 minutes. So it's not a particularly long video. But there were some very interesting points that came up with that particular pairing. Now, these guys, the vagans, they are classed as a burrowing spider. So they're in a mix between a terrestrial and a burrowing spider. They tend to live quite openly in both areas. Now, when we come round to doing her full-time exhibit. We'll give her a little bit of burrowing space should she require it. Some of them do, some of them don't. It's nothing to worry about either way, as long as they're happy and they're doing everything they should be doing. Now, when you saw them, when the male, when he came up and over and he started to go into her enclosure, into her tub, you see she didn't show any signs of acknowledgement whatsoever. And this is a time where he came down and he came level on the floor, and you see he was moving around and he was vibrating. He was doing a little bit of pulling with his pedipalps. You can see the floor moving where she'd webbed all the floor up. She can feel that so easy, so well. And so he's doing all the communicating. She's done absolutely nothing at all. Now, this is a time where we start to think, are these going to be good or are they going to be bad? And just as that thought was running through our mind, bang, she flew into action. And you see there, she literally rushed at him, and they turned around, ended up on the top of the tub there, half and half. But one of the important things was, although she moved really, really quickly, there was no final aggression with her. And you'll see that we stayed back and we just let them be. And the male, he maintained that contact with her constant. And literally from that moment on, you saw he was constantly in contact, constantly pushing, and he literally got that insemination very, very quickly. And you can see by the angle of her body, the way he pulled her down, you knew that we had a successful insemination. Now, you'll also notice that once that actual final act had taken place, they hung there just holding one another. And then you see him trying again, and you see she literally lifted herself up out of the way. She weren't having none of it. She wasn't interested in the slightest in doing this again. Now, so we're left there with a scenario. Now, one of the things is, when we're breeding our spiders, is you must try and hold your nerve and try and look at what's going on. And it happens in a split-second reaction. So you have to try and read the signs as it's all kicking off. Do we interfere? Do we leave them to it? You know, it's a double-edged sword. But in this instance, we decided, you can see, although it was fast and furious, there wasn't any real aggression. You can often tell when a female has got literally death on her mind and all she wants to do is kill him. You can often tell by the way that furious little interaction proceeds as to whether or not you need to step in. And if we had stepped in, we would have upset the pair of them and we wouldn't have got that pairing. So it's very, very important to try and have a little bit of confidence in what you're doing and just try and make that judgment call. It doesn't always work, but 9 times out of 10 you'll be all right, you'll be okay. Now, we did try them again a little time after this. We gave them around about a week and we tried them again, and she was having none of it. And he wasn't that particularly interested in her either. His reaction, he tried a little bit of vibrating and stuff. As soon as he realised there was no communication there, he went his own way, she went her own way. Tried to put them back together again, it's nothing. They're not interested. So she's let us know that this is enough. So what we're going to do now is, we had that really good insemination. We will now rehome her into a permanent enclosure, and we'll do a little video on that and a little care video of how we're going to look after her. Now, another interesting thing there, you would have seen the blue water bowl in her enclosure. Now, I don't know if you can pick this up, but that blue bowl had a bolus dropped in it, and that had sucked up all the water, and that in turn, we have had a suffering of tiny little flies, and it's come in the potting compost bag that I've recently bought, and everything that we've used out of that potting compost has had these little flies in it. And I think what happens is when they harvest this compost and they make it, depending on what time of year it is and when that bag was all bagged up, I think there's probably just thousands and thousands of eggs within that soil. And then when we bring them into a warm enclosure, into a warm room, they hatch out, and we've had a flurry of them, and they've been driving us mad. We don't normally suffer with them, but we've used a slightly different compost this time, and it's not proved successful. It's proved to be awful, really. Now, them flies have hatched out and they've gone everywhere. What they do then is they then attach themselves to any rotting vegetation, dead insects, anything like that, and then they turn into the maggots. The flies lay their eggs in that stuff, which in this case was the bolus from that female's last meal. The flies will have laid their eggs in that. They then turn to tiny, tiny little maggots, which in themselves are no problem at all. They're not going to affect your spider, but they are unsightly and they do create more flies, which creates problems for us. Not the spider, it's for us. So what you saw there was that bolus had maggots all inside the bolus. Now that can happen within 24 hours of the bolus being left there. So the reproduction rate of these little tiny gnats is very, very quick. So you'd have seen there, while they were doing their thing, we left them to it. We didn't want to disturb them. But the minute they got up and they got in contact, you saw I moved in and I took the bowl away. That was the best opportunity to remove that bowl. Had we tried to move that before we started the pairing, we may have upset her, we might have upset him. So a little tip there, if you're going to do anything, pick your times in which to do it. You know, if you're going to pair your spiders, don't choose that moment to clean them out before you pair them. You know, leave everything as it is. You want the least amount of disturbance as possible so that your spiders are in a very, very relaxed state and they feel completely unthreatened. And this is one of the reasons that we have a very, very high success rate on our males, is because we are very careful how we introduce them together and we make sure that both of them are in absolutely perfectly calm situations. It's very, very important. So just a little tip there. But if you do get it, you know, if you do get like the little maggots in the boluses, in the water bowl area, it's not a big issue, not a problem at all. It's more of an issue to us because we just don't like them. But there you go. One little point there. And again, you know, have some confidence when you're pairing them, see what happens and give them that little bit of time. It often pays off. Right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Something a little bit different. And I think we're going to have a few more spiders that we've had come in that we wouldn't necessarily have bothered with, but we're going to run some videos on them. And yeah, I think we might well go down some of these more terrestrial brachypelma type spiders. Oh, excuse me. Sorry for that. I think I swallowed a fly. Oh, yeah. Right then. Whew. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget, if you haven't hit the like button, please do hit the like button. It makes the world of difference. I think that fly was bigger than I gave it credit. It's choking me. Right. Oh, blimey. Right, I am so sorry about that. Right, without further ado, don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. I'm off to get a glass of water, guys, and I'll see you soon. Cheerio.